Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Vinc Pichel up against Ismael Bonfim. This weekend, we have a roster of Brazilians against foreign powers. You know, you're the away side. I asked the same question to Angie Overkill just now. How does that feel like? Is it an adventure for you? Your hands and your fighting skills are leading you around the world, different countries. Here, you're the away team. How does it feel?
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty cool. I get to travel the world just to beat the shit out of people, right? But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's his backyard, but the house is mine, so he's the one loitering, not me.
I like it. Have you fought in Brazil before?
Nah,
Interesting.
never been to the city. I love it. I've been having nothing but a good time meeting people, learning Portuguese, so it's been pretty fun.
Have you ever been? Do you think the fans are gonna take to you? Because you know fans enjoy your style, right? So, but of course they'll be
Yeah,
going for the local dude.
yeah, I'm sure they might hate me a little bit, but once the fight goes on, they'll start to like me. I have no doubt.
You were on a nice winning streak, three really good fights, especially beating a legend like Jim Miller. And then you know that's MMA, right? You come up against Madesn, lose a decision. How do you look back on that one?
Yeah, man. Honestly, I feel like I got cheated. I feel like that fight was super close. I still feel like I edged him in it, just basing on the damage I did because in MMA damage is king, right? But I don't know, man. The judges rewarded stalling, so it is what it is. But it's honestly my fault because I just didn't get up. I was trying to hit him and submit him. I should have just got up, beat the fuck out of him some more. So that's kind of my fault too for trusting those idiots. But man, it is what it is. Shit happens, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not really kind of dwelling on that, but it definitely pisses me off. And poor Ishmael's going to pay the price for it.
How do you deal with that? Because this is kind of a team sport, but it's not. It's just you in there when the cage door locks. And you've been in this game a long time. You know the sport well. And then, of course, you've got your coach's advice. How do you deal with the different voices, you know, and decide what the hell you're doing in there?
Honestly, I don't know. Half the time when I'm in there, I'm just winging shit. We do have game plans, but I listen for the coaches here and there. We have conversations while I'm fighting, so it's not like I can't hear them. It's just I got to decipher through all the other ruckus and the noise. You know what I mean? But it's really no big deal because like I'm in there ultimately, like you said, fighting myself. So I'm out there fighting, and just when I feel like I need to listen for the coaches, I'll listen for the coaches.
Bonfim, I think, did he get that flying knee win against Terrence McKinney? Were you impressed with that?
Yeah, it was pretty good, honestly. I thought that was a pretty good fight for him. He came out like Little Caesar's Pizza, right? Came out pretty good. Kind of got Terrence McKinney backed off. Kind of afraid of his striking. But I don't see that happening with me. The devil fears no man.
I don't believe I've had a Little Caesar's pizza. Is that an expression?
Yeah, it's an expression for Little Caesars. They're hot and ready.
I like it, man. Cool. All right, I'm being educated here, dude. As I said, you've been in the game a while. Are you getting stronger? Is there such a thing as, you know, old man strength, 40 years old? I'm not far off you, dude, to be honest, but are you getting stronger? Are you getting more badass at 40?
I wouldn't say I'm getting stronger because I've always been super strong. That's kind of just one of my natural attributes that I've had was just strength. I'd say I'm getting more slick and more cunning, getting more dangerous in that aspect. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows I have power. When I crack them, the guys are going to cross regardless of, you know what I mean, what I hit them with. So I'm not really worried there. It's just I'm a little more dangerous, a little more cunning with my tactics.
At the moment, I read a headline that like you do not like Tony Ferguson. Are you guys gonna fight one day? Like, what happened there?
Maybe I don't know, it was just some bullshit that like typical Tony shit, right? Like, and I'll tell you the story. I trained at Big John's a long time ago when I first started fighting, and Tony Ferguson, I think just before the Ultimate Fighter came in, he wanted to train with the team. He wanted to be part of the team, and kind of a lot of us were like, "Nah, fuck that," because Tony's a little bridge burner, right? He's known to just kind of be a scumbag. And at that time, we'd already known about his old coach, the guy who basically brought him up, Hoss, who he you know what I mean, kind of did him dirty. So we're all like kind of like nah, but then we talked to Big John over, and we're like, he would be a good partner for the team. He's got good skills, right? He's a good fighter. I don't take that away from him. But we're like, let's just give it a try. And literally the one day he came in was a day that I was coming back from a neck injury. I'd injured my neck in a dirt bike accident, and wasn't even training live, just doing some technique, right? And we're going over Kimuras, and this shit bag literally goes for the Kimura, like I'm letting him do it to me, scissors my neck, and continues just to squeeze my neck as hard as he can, just to be a piece of shit like he is. You know what I'm saying? And so I started hitting him. He let go, We got up, kind of got in a little shovey match, and then Big John got between us pretty quick. And I told Big John, I was like, listen, if this guy's gonna fucking stay here, I'm out of here, dude. Like, I'm not like, you know what a piece of shit this guy is. I'm not gonna tolerate this. I'm fucking out of here, you know. And then Tony was never allowed back. So it's kind of one of those situations. But it was just like, I don't know, a real shitty thing because we are just going over technique, and then you know what I mean. Like it really exposes who he kind of is as a person. So I don't know. That's my grab with him. You know what I mean? He's a good fighter. I don't take away his fighting, but of course I'd love to beat the fuck out of him. I'd love to retire his ass.
Does he have what it takes to beat Paddy Pimblett? I mean, people do down Paddy because he's a star, and people say that he's being given easy fights. But Tony Ferguson surely is an easy fight. How do you see it?
I think Tony's gonna win that one, man. Like I don't know. I still have a little bit of faith in Tony. Paddy's pretty tough, right? But his skill set's not really there. He kind of relies on his toughness more than anything. And not that that's bad, but Tony's also tough too, right? Like he's one of those guys that's gonna be in your face. Tony's got crazy pressure, right? So I kind of just feel like Tony's gonna take that one. But I mean, you can't really count out the 18th century peasant with a McDonald's edition because he is pretty tough.
There's not many OGs left in this division, but there are some absolute classic names. I mean, look, Tony's one of them. Rafael dos Anjos is another. Is there any guys out there who, like, before all's said and done, you have to stand across for them just because, like, you fought Jim Miller, people like that,
Of course I'd love to, but I'm not really like kind of counting. But yeah, man, I would love to have just big money fights, right, and do that kind of thing. There's not really anyone in particular that I could think of, but yeah, man, like I just like any other fighter, I want those big money fights. I want to test myself. I want to prove that they're human too.
Often the guy holding the belt is debatable whether he's the best. I don't think it's debatable right now that Islam's the best, but out of the bunch, 1, 2, and 3 in your eyes, who's the best fighter there?
Man, I mean, Makachev is definitely like one of those guys. He's pretty good. I mean, I feel like he's kind of picking and choosing too. Like everyone's calling him goat after beat the 45er, right? Although Volkanovski's no slouch, but it's still someone who's significantly smaller, right? So I don't know. I don't give him too much credit for beating Volkanovski in that aspect. Um, but man, I would say him. Honestly, I give Charles Oliveira a lot of credit. That dude's been around forever and really overcome a lot. He's got the most submissions. And honestly, the other guy I would say is probably like, honestly, it was like Jim Miller. It's those guys who kind of chill in there, and the guys who've stood the test of time, you know what I mean, who are still there. You know what I mean? There's plenty of other guys that I could mention who were in there, right? Like that aren't like a top 10 guy, but in my eyes are like one of the top contenders. And you know what I mean? Like those dudes are probably like one of them. I would also say Guida. Like Guida's one of those guys who's been there stood the test of time. You know what I mean? Matt Brown, or if you're just talking about my weight class, right? But there's just a lot of guys that come to mind for me for that.
Do you still see McGregor as a lightweight? Like, do you have any interest in that storyline? Because it does bring more eyeballs to your division. And I don't know, does it rise all ships having McGregor back in the sport?
I don't know. I kind of feel like he's lost his shit, man. Like he was just a shooting star, right? And eventually they hit the ground running. So I think he's already hit the ground running. Um, he's definitely not the same McGregor when he came on the scene and did what he did. So I don't know, man. I think he's been kind of tainted a little bit by having all that money and just basically becoming a Tony Ferguson outside the cage.
Do you ever find it hard to still have that hunger? You guys work unbelievably hard. It's not always fun getting punched in the face, or maybe it is. I don't know. How do you stay driven? How do you wake up early and run?
Well, first of all, I don't run. That shit's for the birds. But I don't know, man. Like I just enjoy fighting. I don't I have a hole in me that just will never be filled, and fighting is the closest thing that I can get to feeling it. So I don't know. That's just what fighting is for me, right? And I'm gonna be sad when I can't fight anymore, but I don't really see that in the next couple of years happening. So
Instead of running, what do you do for cardio? You just fight, you spar?
yeah, I just kick it up in the gym. My extra reps, more time in the gym, more time lifting. My intensity goes up. Um, I'm not one of those guys who's like I'm always in the gym, but I'm not one of those guys who's always trying to kill myself in the gym, right? I'm technically working. I'm trying to conserve my body. I know you know what I mean, I'm not spring chicken anymore, but I still got a lot of pep in my step, right? And when I'm in the gym, you don't know the difference between me and the 20-year-old guys that are in there. So I think it's just kind of my mentality, the way I've approached it, and my methodical ways with fighting. Because like I said, when I'm outside of camp, I'm in there training every day, and I enjoy it. Right, like the team's really amazing. All the guys at Factory X are fun. Like we all get along. It's not like different groups of guys in the gym. We're one big group, which is like fucking amazing to me. Right, like I've never been to a gym that's been like that. And so, man, I think it's just that. Like I think it's just my approach where I'm training all the time, but then when I have a fight camp, that's when I kick everything up, right? That's when I run on in the red, and everything's out running on all cylinders.
That sounds very cool. The vibe you guys have. We're going to wrap up with a quick fire. So, in the UFC, who's the best wrestler right now?
The best wrestler right now, honestly, probably I would say like, geez, I mean I can't even pronounce any of these Mountain Russians' names really, but there's a couple of them that I think of. I think Islam's really good. I think Michael Chandler would be a really good wrestler if he actually used it and just didn't be an idiot when he fought. Um, there's a few guys. Gregor Gillespie's a really good wrestler. You know what I mean? So there's definitely a few guys in there, but I'd say those boys probably come to mind in my weight class anyway.
Who's the funniest?
The funniest, man, that's actually pretty hard. There's a couple guys for me. I think I would say the guy that I have the most fun that I laugh with would probably be Ian Gary. I think when me and Ian Gary, when we're on the same card, me and him are always just laughing, dicking around, having a good time, right? And it's kind of a rare thing because on fight week, everybody's super serious. They're like, "Oh, the fuck, I'm here to kick some ass," and you know what I mean, chew bubble gum. So I don't know. I think I would probably say Ian Gary. Me and him have a good time. Like I like his energy, his aura. He's a really fun dude, and also really fun to watch. So I'd say him.
Who's the most annoying?
Oh shit, man. Hmm. Hmm. I can't really think of anyone like that comes to mind because there's been people who have like annoyed me, but I don't really that shit rolls off my back. But just the guys who are just like too serious about shit and like what I mean. I'm not really sure how many guys are like that, but there's a I can't like I said I can't think of anyone in particular, but there's a lot of guys who are just like super serious, too serious, and I mean I kind of understand it, but at the same time I'm like relaxed guy. Like there's Saturday for a reason.
Anybody that comes to mind at all, just for the sake of the glory of this edit? It's
just for the sake of clickbait, yeah. Let me see.
If not, we can move on.
Yeah, not really, man, because I haven't really had like too many bad altercations with anybody on fight week because I'm just kind of happy go lucky. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself kind of person. So I'm not really sure, man. There's not really anything I can think of.
Good to hear. Who's the best dressed?
Oh, the best dressed? Man, I'd say me, but I don't like to dress up. So I don't that's a rare occasion for me to dress up. But geez, he's always mobbing around with suits. I mean, Ian Gary always dresses up pretty good. I feel. What's his name? Who? Oh, Bobby.
Bobby
Fuck, I
Green.
can't even. Yeah, Bobby Green. Bobby Green's always like suited up. I like how Bobby dressed. I like his swag.
Best looking
Bobby's
fighter
my
in the
boy too, though. So I'm a
UFC.
little biased.
Best looking fighter, guy or girl?
Best looking fighter, guy or girl? I mean, I'm definitely probably going to be a girl because I'm not into dudes, but um, I don't know, man. I feel like every time I come here and I see a new UFC chick, they're all like pretty cute, right? But I don't know. I don't really know their names. I just know their faces. But I'm just out there creeping just like any other dude would.
Who would you most like to have dinner with?
Oh man, who would I like to have dinner with? It's a fucking guy. Um, hmm. I don't know, man. It probably wouldn't be like a fighter. It'd probably just be like people in the UFC staff. There's like really cool people in the UFC staff, and I feel like I get to see them on fight weeks, and we hung out, and we dick around, and we have fun together. But we don't really get to hang out too much. So honestly, probably just the UFC staff. Some of the guys there, right? Like, there's a lot of cool dudes. Like, Dean's really cool. Dean Kane, Heidi's really cool, right? Marcus, um, Justin's really cool. There's just a lot of names that come to mind, but it's basically just UFC staff. Like the fighters, man, not so much. They're always kind of just stiffs, you know what I mean?
Respect to the staff, man.
I'd like to hang out with Ian Gary though. I think if me and Ian Gary got out like on the town, we'd probably be bad together. But it'd be fun.
Yeah. Best hands in the UFC right now.
Man, honestly, I'd probably want to say like Poirier. I feel like Poirier's got really good boxing. His hands are really good. He's very dynamic. He's in your face. I'd probably have to give that to Poirier.
Best fight IQ.
Oh man, I'd say me. I feel like I have a really good fight IQ. I'm not one of these martial artists. I'm an actual fighter, and so a lot of my weight comes from just kind of trial and error, and over the course of the years. And even before I got in the UFC, I've been in probably at least 100 fights right before I started fighting. So I would say my fight IQ is really smart. It's kind of what's driven me and got me where I am and kept me where I am.
Wow, 100. Jesus. What's your
Yeah,
record
I've been
out?
a lot. I've been a lot of street fights. I've been arrested a lot for fighting and
What's your
abusing people.
record?
I've only lost. I'd say I'd only lost probably two, and the two that I lost, it ended with me chasing the guy. Right, so I gave them the upper hand on me, but those motherfuckers ran from me.
So you're like 98-2 outside of the cage.
Yeah, basically.
That's that. Yeah. Wow. You're like a Thai. That's like a Muay Thai record.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I'm just a violent little bastard, but also I would bash people's chairs and whatever was around me too. So there's no rules in the street.
This is true. Well, I'm going to ask you that next one then. Who would you most like by your side in a street fight from the UFC?
Honestly, probably my boy Alex. It's just someone that I've been able to count on in training and help me with stuff. But
Alex,
yeah, Alex Hernandez. He's actually here with me now. But
what's up, Alex? Nice.
like I don't know, man. The thing that matters to me most is kind of loyalty, right? And he's one of those people who I feel is very trustworthy. And, you know what I mean? We're actually talking about this not too long ago. He's one of the guys who I could trust my money, my woman, or you know what I mean, my family with. So my secrets. So definitely Alex.
Respect. And who would be your dream fight in any weight class, past or present?
Oh shit. Honestly, probably Matt Hughes. I don't know why, but I've always wanted to fight Matt Hughes, and I know Matt Hughes. We're friends. But he's kind of the reason why I was like, damn, man, like I don't know, without saying sound like I'm talking to him shit. I was like, Matt Hughes really isn't that good of a fighter, but he always dominates somehow, right? He finds some way to dominate and beat people. And so probably that. I think that'd be a really fun fight.
Awesome. And the one I didn't ask was who is the most interesting female fighter right now? Just either in terms of how they fight, how they carry themselves, like who interests you in terms of fighters, other females?
Honestly, I would say it's Juliana Pena, and mainly because like I know Juliana and she's a very tough girl, very tough fighter, right? I love her gritty style. But also like outside of it, she's got her own shit, right? She's got a family, she's doing her own thing. And so like I really admire that about her, how she you know what I mean, kind of mixes both worlds very well. Not that there's other fighters that don't do it, but just her determination is kind of like second to none with women, I think anyway.
Maximum respect, Vince. It's been a pleasure. This has been really fun. Good luck. Enjoy Brazil, and hope to chat to you again in the future.
Thank you, Andrew. I will. Appreciate it.
Nice one.